I'd like to get this meeting started, please. Okay, I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Long Beach Community College Board of Trustees of May 28, 2013. The board met in closed session and there are no items to report out. If I can please have Trustee Kellogg lead us in a flag salute.
If everyone can please stand, and following Memorial Day weekend, please join me in saluting our flag and our country. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, here we are. Roll call, please.
President Uranga,
Present.
Vice President Kellogg,
Here.
Member Bowen,
Here.
Member Clark, Member Otto.
Okay, we have some welcomes and introductions. President Superintendent Oakley.
Yes, thank you, Board President Uranga. As has become the tradition the last few meetings, we are celebrating the accomplishments of many of our faculty and staff who have chosen to retire. And so we're doing that again this evening. First, I have Wendy Robinette. Wendy, are you here? There she is. Hi, Wendy. Welcome. Wendy is a history professor here at Long Beach City College and has served us for 38 years. Done a tremendous job, touched thousands and thousands of students along her way, and has served us tremendously. She began here as a professor of history in 1996, also served as a long-term substitute and part-time instructor here at Long Beach City College. So I want to thank Wendy for her service, for all that she's done for our students, and for being a tremendous faculty member for all the years. So please join me in congratulating Wendy on her retirement.
Goodness, after teaching for 38 years, I don't think I have a whole lot of words left. I started here as a part-timer. I was hired the afternoon that I finished the comprehensive exams for my master's degree. And I was hired by a teacher I had had at Long Beach City College. The college has been such an important part of my life for a very, very long time. My kids and I, every time we drive past, say, God bless Long Beach City College. And I hope the college understands its tremendous role in our community and continues to serve us all forever and ever and ever more. So I'll say goodbye and thank you ever so much.
Thank you, Wendy. We have a few other retirements as well. Long time chemistry professor, Joe Danner. Is Joe here today? No, I don't see Joe. Joe has served Long Beach City College for 43 years. Done a tremendous job for all these years. Was first hired as a professor of chemistry in 1971. I want to thank Joe personally and on behalf of all the students that he served for his many, many years of service, for doing just a tremendous job. And the college will miss him dearly. So please join me in congratulating Joseph Danner on his retirement. Also retiring is someone who's been in and around this community for many years and has been here at Long Beach City College for 18 of those years and served as the head football coach from 2003 to 2007, Jerry Jaso. Jerry is retiring as a kinesiology professor and again has served this college for over 18 years, served the community for well beyond that. So we want to congratulate Jerry on his retirement and wish him the very best. Please join me in a round of applause for Jerry. Next, someone again that we all know very, very well, served this college for 37 years. He has been the counselor in financial aid and Veterans Affairs. He has served as a dean of financial aid and most recently as a professor of astronomy. It sounds like we're losing all of our science professors, but please join me in congratulating Michael McCallum for all his service in his various roles throughout his tenure at Long Beach City College. And adding to the hit parade of science professors, someone again that has just done a tremendous job for many, many years. He served this college for 35 years. And his name is synonymous with the planetarium here at Long Beach City College. His name is Dave Sholey. He served the college for 35 years as a professor of astronomy and physics. And I know that he will be sorely missed. So please join me in congratulating Dave Sholey. And last but not least, someone who I've been very, very familiar with over the years, certainly since I began here 11 years ago. She has served this college in many roles. She has served this college as Academic Senate President on several occasions. She has served her most important role as geology professor to my daughter Lauren, who she took on several field trips and got her interested in geology, and Lauren went on to become a geology major at Cal State Long Beach. We have worked together very closely over the years because of her leadership roles, and although I can say that we disagreed on occasion, I think we always knew where each other was coming from, and that is a love for this college and a hope for the future of this college. So please join me in congratulating Janice Thompson on her retirement and over 34 years of service. That's all I have.
Well, congratulations to all the retirees. There's a lot of experience leaving us this year, and hopefully we will be able to find some individuals who will be able to replenish our loss in knowledge with some more individuals who are just as committed and dedicated in their professions as well as to Long Beach City College. Moving on to the agenda, we have the approval of minutes of May 9th.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion, corrections on that? Okay, the minutes were adopted as written. We have the minutes of May 14, 2013. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion or amendments to any of the discussion items in the May 14 minutes? Hearing none, the minutes are adopted as presented. Ordering the agenda, has anyone have any recommendations on ordering the agenda? Okay, hearing none, we shall move on. Report of the Board of Trustees, item 1.1, installation of energy efficiency measures. This is a public hearing, but first I think we have a presentation, and I will refer that to Anne Marie Gable.
Thank you, and I'm actually going to turn it over to Mr. Menhani Ephraim, who is our Deputy Director of Maintenance and Operations, who's going to go over a presentation regarding this central plant expansion and optimization project.
Thank you, President Uranga, trustee members, and Superintendent Oakley. Thank you so much for having me today. We're going to be sharing with you an upcoming project we're going to be doing at the central plant. It involves the expansion of the equipment at the central plant. I'd like to first introduce myself. I guess like Anne-Marie said, my name is Medhani Ephraim. I've been here about 6 years or so as the Deputy Director of Maintenance and Operations here at the district. So that being said, due to the expected load increases we've had at the campus, and we're going to continue to have, installation of new plant equipment at the LIC plant is required. It's important to know the LIC central plant was designed to accommodate what we would say at 2,400 tons of cooling. The plant currently operates at a maximum capacity of 1,500 tons. Initially, it was built out that way. As the campus expands and buildings connect to the central plant, this load is estimated to reach the capacity of what it was designed for, and that's 2,400 tons. The existing plant, once again, was designed for that. It has a pad available for this expansion. It was designed with that intent. The piping is piped and ready to go for that expansion, and so it was thought of as it was designed back then. So the equipment that was put in and installed back then, this is around 2008, it was based in mind with the load that we had back then. Since then, we have the new math tech construction that's going to be starting soon. That's with DSA, that's with the Division State of Architect, and we're waiting for their approval. Once we do, that construction project's going to start. And so the expansion at the central plant is going to be required now. And again, when we say expansion, it's the equipment, not necessarily the building that we're going to add on to, but additional equipment to be able to support the buildings coming online, i.e. math tech. The equipment mentioned here is specifically is one 900-ton super efficient centrifugal chiller. Currently, we have 3 chillers, 300-ton, and 2 600-ton chillers that are supporting the campus here at this campus. The other supporting equipment would be 1,200 tons of cooling tower, new pumps, variable frequency drives, also known as VFDs, that we will need to support the additional equipment. We also looked at, or looking at, I should say, implementing an optimization software for both campuses, both central plants, all the buildings connected to the central plants at both campuses. This option was not available in the initial central plant build-out, and it's just now becoming available to us. It has proven to be extremely efficient. Lots of institutions are starting to use it. In a nutshell, if I can just read this verbiage here, the system is it's a smart piece of software and hardware that interfaces with the cooling, air handling, and control systems in large buildings. Once it's installed, the system will learn how a building operates. It's self-tuned, continuously commissioning both the central plant and the buildings connected to the central plant. And then it optimizes that operations to improve both comfort, most importantly, increase efficiencies in our campus and provide a fully automated demand response if we wanted that option. So this doesn't replace the energy management system we already have. It actually sits on top of it and speaks to it. It's the energy management system that we currently have in place still has to be there. And this new system actually would have to depend on that. If some of you are familiar with the commissioning of buildings, this essentially is that. It's constantly fine-tuning the building every day with the building as it's occupied, even when it's not occupied. Commissioning like monitored base or retro commissioning or whatnot it might be on a one-time basis. This is continual commissioning that would be done to improve the quality of the classrooms that we have in place, and at the same time, more importantly, being able to save some dollars at the end of the day. So because of this optimization software, we were able to garner some electrical savings, if you will, both in kWh and dollars. So we were able to use the energy conservation contract, also known as ESCO in some ways, or to some government code section 4217. The district issued this RFQ number 13-001 on November 6th. We received 2 responses. On November 29th, they were both vendors were Trane and Siemens. Both were great packages. After reviewing both submissions, the district selected Trane as they submitted a very, very comprehensive package. We were impressed with that optimization system as where it was placed at different institutions, private companies. So we were very pleased by that. So as part of the Government Code 4217, an energy audit level study has to be done. So the district authorized Trane to perform this audit level energy study for both campuses. The energy study was necessary to both confirm the necessity of adding more cooling capacity. We knew that going into it. We've always known that, but we let the energy study confirm this, in which it did. The estimate, also the study was necessary to estimate the energy savings of the proposed new HVAC optimization software, which it did. We were very pleased, and also provide the utility rebates applicable for the expansion and optimization project through the partnership program. So the district is heavily involved in that partnership program. We're probably, throughout the state, about the top 5 out of all the community college statewide. We're involved, all of our construction projects, it's part of our standard to be involved with that. We also looked at the option of adding a chilled water thermal energy storage tank to shift the LAC campus energy demand to off-peak. During the heavy summers, for example, those chillers are running. They are on hot days, they're working really hard. Unfortunately, that's during high peak demand, and we can't get away from that. So we did a study on that to see if that was feasible. The following is what essentially the study yielded. It stated that the central plant equipment was proved to be necessary for the LAC campus with new buildings coming online. The increased load would be larger than the current equipment is capable of cooling, and once again, we knew that going into it. So this was something we had in mind. So the central plant was originally designed with the expansion in mind. Once again, the option of adding a thermal energy storage tank, we found that that was not cost effective to do, is what the study came back with. Because of the district's current enrollment with direct access, which we are, we had negotiated a good rate with the League and Constellation Energy. So we already have a good fixed rate on our electrical bill, if you will. So mostly because of that storage tank option did not prove to be feasible. We also looked at the scenario of going back to our utility, which was Edison at this point, but that also did not yield to install a thermal energy storage tank because of the heavy investment we've already put in on our central plant for the expansion that was already thought about, the pads that are available, the plumbing that's already available. So we looked at all those, and we felt like adding the 900-ton chiller was the best option for the plant. So once again, the HVAC optimization software leads to substantial improvements in operation and energy efficiency. The optimization software provides continuous commissioning and tuning of HVAC systems to ensure longevity of energy efficiency. This is, once again, the system is smart enough to where once you turn it on, if you will, right now it will learn what the situation of this room is, and tomorrow, moving forward, it will calculate those. Instead of cooling this room up half an hour in advance, tomorrow it's going to say, no, it doesn't need to be half an hour in advance, it'll be 5 minutes in advance. So those kind of specific fine-tuning at the building level, at the room level, it all adds up to saving. So these are some quick numbers we came with. At the LAC campus, we're looking at approximately $638,000 of KWH savings per year. Average cost savings per year is about $76,500, and we're hoping to get a utility rebate of a one-time check for $100,000 to $150,000. And these numbers are extremely conservative, so we are very comfortable with these numbers, if you will. But we believe that the utility will be higher, and that the savings might be higher as well. The PCC campus, 488,000 KWH savings per year. Average cost about 58,500, and about 50,000 or 100,000 we're expecting out of the utility partnership program. So the total is about 1.1 million KWH savings per year, $135,000 per average cost savings per year. And if all goes right, it's anywhere between 150 to 250,000 one-time check we're going to be getting from the utility partnership program. Total construction costs it's $2.8 million minus the utility rebate would be you subtract that $200,000, that comes net cost to about $2.6 million. We do believe that, once again, that the utility rebate might also go up in that, which would benefit more, which would bring the construction cost down, so we're hoping for that. This will equate to approximately 7.6 annual savings on utilities for us, with about 6.47 years simple payback on this project. 6.47 simple payback. Those are good numbers in the world of energy contract, if you will. So in conclusion, just to reiterate here, results show that the district will save approximately 8.7% just on the annually on electricity alone. There's a net savings inclusive of annual maintenance and repairs of the equipment. That's the 7.6% we just talked about a few minutes ago. The 6.47 year simple payback would mean that the period would be over in 2020, 2021, around that time area, that time period, I should say. We recommend awarding contract to Train for central plant expansion and optimization to be able to move forward with this. And dependent upon the board's verbal authorization to move forward, we will bring it back as an action item at the June 11, 2013 board meeting.
Okay, this is now the time set aside for the public to express its views on this item, installation of energy efficiency measures. Any discussion? Anyone want to address the presentation that we just heard? I have a question. Who was the original contractor for the plant?
Siemens.
Siemens was?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you're giving it to Train?
Yes.
Okay. I was just wondering in terms of the compatibility of their programs with the original makers of the plant.
It's the actual chillers themselves are actually Train. And so, and the EMS system is what they call it. It works on a backneck protocol. They all speak the same language essentially. So whether you bring Siemens or Train or it wouldn't make a difference.
Okay. Trustee Kellogg.
To follow up on that particular question, sure, on the bid process, because we weren't even aware, but there was 2 responses to the bid.
Yes, sir.
Is that unusual? And one being the original contractor, I don't even know how many potential companies are out there that do this type of work, but right, there's only 2.
There's more than 2. So there's other companies that do this. And there was an ad put out, I believe, and you have to do this in order to use that 4217. But there's a few, not that many, but there are a few companies that do this and do it well, and they all do it well. But the only ones that responded were the 2. So
public entities, everything's public anyway, but
Right.
I won't even put you on the numbers tonight, but were the two bids, were they relatively close, or was one substantially different?
Well, the initial look that you look at, I can't remember how, we don't have anyone from contracts here. They'd probably be better to speak to that, Trustee Kellogg. But the initial look is you have to look at essentially how they manage the project, their staff, and that final 2.8 million it actually comes after the fact. So you don't get to necessarily see that on the front end. But I would entrust to have somebody from contracts, honestly, Trustee Kellogg, to be able to better respond to that question. So if I can come back to you on that, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's
Sure.
fine. I
Sure.
was curious because the fact that,
Sure.
I mean, two people bidding on a project, I would think, especially during these times, or
Sure.
any times for that matter, there'd be much more competitiveness for
Sure.
the work. And to
Yeah.
see only two,
Right.
that worries me. I don't know
Sure.
how good of a,
Well, and I think
indicator I can
one thing to note, Trustee Kellogg, is that, I mean, ultimately, Train would have to be involved because the majority of the equipment is theirs. And so whoever we would have brought in outside of Train, they would have to purchase that Train equipment from Train. So my first inkling would be to say that number would probably be higher if it was somebody else.
and just, again, I have no qualms with the recommendations, but where's this company headquartered out of?
I have two of them here.
The training corporate headquarters in La Crosse, Wisconsin. Ingersoll Rand's our parent company in Davidson.
I was going to ask if there's somebody from Train sitting here because.
Yeah, I was. My apologies for not responding, for not even introducing them.
So we hired a cheesehead, is what you're telling me we hired in Wisconsin? All right, very good, thank you.
That was hard for me as well. I am a Chargers fan. Okay.
Okay, any more comments from the board or anyone else? Okay, then I declare this public hearing closed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on into the agenda, committee reports. Hearing none, we move on. Student trustee, no report. Oh, that's right. Okay, Trustee Otto.
Yeah, since we don't have a student trustee tonight, and haven't for three meetings, I will again give the student trustee report. On May 19th, the ASB marched in the Gay Pride Parade in downtown Long Beach. On May 28th, which is today, there was a student life banquet held at 3 p.m. On May 31st is the ASB banquet at the Grand, and on June 6th is commencement. On May 22nd and May 23rd, ASB elections were held. Most of the positions were unfilled, and there will be another election in the fall. So any students that are watching this or are interested in being involved in student government, please express your interest so that we can fill our student leadership positions. That's all.
Thank you, Trustee Otto. Now we have opportunity for public comments on agenda items. I do not have any speaker cards for agenda items. We will move on. Consent agenda. Oh, this is done in one action. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on any of these agenda items? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Okay, now we're at Human Resources, item 5.3, Personnel Commission Annual Budget for 2013-14. And this is going over to Vice President Rose Delgadio.
Thank you, President Uranga. At this moment, I'd like to invite up our Director of Human Resources, Julie Kosick. And as she walks up, I'd like to acknowledge the tremendous work that Julie and her staff have been doing in human resources over this past year and more recently as it relates to many of the personnel action items and reorganizations that have been submitted. They've done a tremendous job on behalf of the district, and so Julie, for that, thank you.
Thank you very much, Rose. It's my pleasure, and thank you, President Uranga, members of the board, and President Oakley. If you could please refer to the annual budget for the Personnel Commission that is attached to your 5.3 concurrence item. If you look at the item, you'll see that column 1 is our actuals for 2011-2012. Column 2 is our estimated for this year, which is 2012, 2013. And the third column all the way to the right is the budget that we asked for your concurrence this evening. As you can see, we've been pretty steady on the cost measures that we have undertaken to make sure that we stay within budget. And our budget this year is only a few $100s in excess of the budget that we had last year. And part and parcel is the benefits factor that you can see under employee benefits. This year we're estimating that we will end the year with $148,837 for benefits, and for next year, $149,039. And if you have any questions regarding the budget, I would be glad to answer them for you.
Any comments from the board? Trustee Kellogg?
I really don't have any questions on it. It was very clean and simple. I just want to express that to the commission. I know it's not been easy, a lot of work, and so just personally, I'd like to extend my thanks to the commissioners who put in the time and the energy, because I know there's been a lot of issues going before them, and just when you go back, that so noted. I'm very aware of what they've been going through, and I appreciate a lot of the work they're doing to help us in the college. So it has not been an easy times, and I understand that, and I know the issues you've had to deal with have not been easy as well. So I truly appreciate the effort. Thank you.
I will share that with the commissioners. Thank you.
Please do.
Okay. No other comments? Unless there is any other discussion, I'm going to accept concurrence with your presentation and your agenda. Okay,
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, item number 9, which is Academic Senate. No items, no report. Report of the Superintendent President, Mr. Oakley.
Yes, thank you, Board President Uranga. I just have a few brief comments this evening. First of all, I want to thank our CCA negotiating team led by Lynn Misahan. We recently reached agreement on a tentative agreement on the department chair language in the contract. I understand that's going out for ratification, so I want to thank her and her team, thank Dr. Viscachil as well, and of course thank Dr. Shaw for her leadership in helping both parties reach agreement again at the table. Thank you to everyone involved. A couple of events that are coming up that I hope everyone attends. First of all, this Thursday in the Hall of Champions, we are celebrating our 85th anniversary, the 85th anniversary of Long Beach City College. We were celebrating with a gala and honoring many former Vikings who have had a lot to do with the 85-year history of this college, so I hope that you all can attend. And then a week from Thursday, we end the year with commencement. So again, we will take the time to celebrate the achievement of our students, as well as the great work of our faculty. So I hope that everyone who can attend does attend. We have a wonderful commencement speaker, Mr. Ernest Mitchell Jr., who is a U.S. Fire Administrator and recent inductee into the Long Beach City College Hall of Fame. So we look forward to hearing from Ernie Mitchell. And for those of you who heard him speak at the Hall of Fame ceremony, he's a wonderful gentleman, and we look forward to hearing from him. That's all I have.
Thank you, Superintendent Oakley. Next item is Academic Affairs, 10.1 Revised Regulation 4012. This is an informative item dealing with academic freedom. So I encourage our trustees to get familiar with that one. Student Support Services, we have an action item, revised 2013-14 academic calendar. This is an action item. Can I have a motion, please?
Move approval.
Can I have a motion and a second? Any discussion? Trustee Otto.
Yeah, a couple questions. In the backup to this, I noticed that July wasn't included.
Speak into your microphone. Speak into your microphone.
Excuse me. I noticed that July wasn't included at all. Is that because, I mean, I don't know, I didn't, maybe the way it's done. I also know we got very little in January. I know that's our intersession and our summer session, but can you explain this to me?
If I read this correctly, I believe it's because July is not part of the regular academic calendar, or did we just leave it out?
For 2013.
I think the formatting is why it got left off.
Okay.
So
Okay. And it's my understanding that, again, because of these budget cuts, we're not planning on an intersession in January. Is that correct?
At this point, there is no winter intersession plan. We are only planning for a summer session.
Okay, and that's a reduced summer session. My understanding is about a quarter of what it used to be.
We have begun to add some sections to summer, but it would still be probably around a third of what we normally offer, or at least what we offered 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know that normally is the right word anymore.
And if AB 955 was to pass, would that create the possibilities of our having an intersession? And it certainly would affect this summer session, but could you explain that to us?
Yes, assuming that the bill passes the Senate, which it has already passed the Assembly and is signed by the governor, the soonest we could begin offering additional sections would be, I believe, the winter intersession.
Winter of 14?
Yes.
Okay. That's all my questions.
Any other comments, questions from the board? Okay, hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Thank you. Item 13, Administrative Services. This is also an action item. Resolution, Associated Student Body Fund. May I have a motion, please?
move approval.
You have a motion and a second. Discussion. Any questions, comments from the board? Hearing none. We'll move to the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Thank you. Item 14, Pacific Coast Campus. No items, no report. Item 15, College Advancement and Economic Development. No items and no report. Item 16, Academic Senate. April? Dr. Wires? No? Okay. Trustee Communications. Any trustees with any comments on anything at this point?
Yeah.
Trustee Otto?
Yeah, I'd like to revisit what's been happening around here for essentially the last month. On April 23rd, our student trustee told us that we as a board, of which he was a member, had committed illegal and immoral actions in taking certain votes. And he accused us of having violated the Ralph M. Brown Act and many, many other things at the same time. Then he walked out so that he couldn't engage with any dialogue with us about what it was that he had said. We sent him a letter and said, please show us your proof. Please get to us by the 3rd of May, anything and everything that you have that supports what it is that you said. It was met with silence. Nothing was ever turned over to us in way of proof, although he was publicly quoted as saying, I have so much information that I can't even organize it. It's been almost a month since that time, and we still don't have any of that information. Then we had another Board of Trustees meeting where the student trustee, who is a duly elected member of this board, decided on his own not to come. He had the board materials, he picked those up, But what that meant was that the student voice was not represented at that meeting when there were serious topics of discussion in which students really should have had a voice. The students were denied that voice because of the choice of our student trustee. And then we had another Board of Trustee meeting where these topics came up again and were very, very serious in terms of what was going to happen to our community college and its future. Our student trustee again decided to absent himself from that meeting, fully knowing that the meeting was going on. So we in the meantime, we responded to what the student trustee had said, pointed out that we didn't think that there was any merit to it, invited him to respond, and last Friday, not the student trustee, but somebody else, actually last Wednesday, responded with a threat. The threat was, we're going to the district attorney's office to show that you guys are wrong. And they made that public. Well, we've been in touch with the district attorney's office every day since then. And as of today, the district attorney's office hasn't heard anything from the student trustee or the person that wrote the letter and said that they can't respond to it because they haven't received anything from anybody raising allegations that there was improper conduct at this meeting. I invite the student trustee or anyone else in his group, but particularly him, to go with me and our attorney to the district attorney's office so we can resolve this once and for all. But what seems most conspicuous to me is the absence of the student trustee ever since he made his initial allegations. This board is a collegial board. What that means is the way we make decisions is by reasoning together, coming to conclusions. Our accreditation standards say that what we do is we work as a board together, and if we reach a conclusion, then everybody on the board gets behind it because that's the way boards work. Imagine a Long Beach City Council with a council member after a vote that a member of the board didn't like or the council didn't like, then leaving and never again communicating with the board, or the council in that case. Imagine a court, an appellate court with several justices on it, even a Supreme Court, with a justice walking out after a decision didn't go his way and never coming back. It's inconceivable. And yet that's what we're faced with. Student trustee has denied the trustees at this community college representation. For the last couple of months, I've had to give student trustee reports of what student activities have been on campus because for whatever reason, the student trustee felt that that wasn't an important thing to do. So here we are at the last meeting that the student trustee would have an opportunity, sitting as a member of this body, to influence this body in any decisions that it might make. And he's not only absented himself from up here on the dais, but he sits before us in the audience as if an affront to the students in this community college who go to class, get their grades, engage in extracurricular activities, want to know what's going on. It's as if he's put himself above everyone else. I don't know whether he thinks this is a matter of principle. I don't know whether, I actually don't know what he thinks because he's not here. He's literally not here and has refused to engage in that dialogue. So to say I am disappointed is an understatement. To say that I'm upset to have been accused of immoral and illegal activities by somebody who won't then present the information that he says supports that and yet talks to the newspapers about that is, in my opinion, cowardly. And so I think it's important to set the record straight on what's been going on here for the better part of 30 days. And I renew my invitation to go to the district attorney's office with me and with our attorney and get an answer to what you say are these illegal and immoral acts. Thanks.
Trustee Kellogg.
Just as you're making that tour of the district attorney, could you swing by the appropriate body regarding the recall? Because nothing has been done on the recall. Got a headline, we're waiting to respond, appropriate timeline, have not been notified of anything being processed officially. And we're waiting, and we've been calling them. So can you go by there as well and find out after the headline if that actually is real? Because right now, ladies and gentlemen, it's not. And there won't be a headline to tell anybody that. We just have to keep telling people there's no recall. And that's real frustrating too.
Any other trustees? Okay, on a positive note, I want to indicate that I did attend the classified staff luncheon on Friday, and it was very well done, well presented. Sorry, Tom, I missed you out there. I was looking for you, and I didn't see you there. But hopefully we will be able to have an opportunity to speak at a later time, because I know we're looking forward to that. And it was, I guess I was joined by Trustee Kellogg at that luncheon, as well as President Superintendent Oakley, yes, and Trustee Otto also joined us there. So I think what's important here is the fact that, and I attended the Student Awards banquet or luncheon this afternoon. And just as a note, you know, our support of students does not stop. Our support of faculty and faculty does not stop. We continue, because that's our job. That's what we're elected to do, and that's what we want to do, because we believe in Long Beach City College. We believe in the work it does. We certainly encourage our students to participate in the governance process. Disappointing in the elections that they didn't come out as we would have liked for them to have done, and another elections can be taken in the fall. But I certainly encourage our student trustees, students who are out there who are watching this to please, you know, take that step, become part of the solution and not part of the problem. Future reports, I didn't think we heard anything today for future reports. Public comments on non-agenda items. Again, this is the opportunity for the public to address the Board of Trustees on matters of general district business. This is the time for members of the public to speak and be heard and share their comments with the board, and for the board to listen. Therefore, the public should not expect the board to comment or respond to public comments. A particular position should not be inferred if there are no board member comments during this time. A total of 5 minutes will be allotted to each subject unless extended by the board president. After receiving testimony, the board may recommend placing such items on the agenda of a future meeting or referring the items to staff for a report. And again, as has been stated, and I've stated in the past, this is a collegial body. We do not condone or tolerate any remarks that are very negative or insulting to anyone, because more than anything else is a reflection of how you are, as opposed to saying that you want to insult the person up here on the board. So it's a character, part of your character, if you say that. So having said that, I have a number of speaker cards here. Rose Vance on aviation, 5 minutes.
In a Long Beach Press Telegram article entitled "College Education Isn't for Everyone," survey says came out on Sunday, May 26, 2013, and it states a hefty salary can be had without a college education. The article continues to go on to talk about one of the local Long Beach businesses here, Pete's Plumbing. They state that they have a couple of guys who make pretty close to 6 figures. Their company pays for their 401k and their health insurance. However, snaking drains for payment is not the path for everyone, but neither is taking on debt to fund a bachelor's degree in the mere hopes of finding a job. According to the authors of the study, entitled "Should Everyone Go to College?" published by the Center on Children and Families and the Brookings Institution in Washington, D.C., states, college isn't the best investment for a lot of people. It is a very expensive experience. By telling all young people that they should go to college no matter what, you're actually doing them a disservice. Due to skyrocketing tuition costs, students are increasingly dependent on loans, and a startling amount of students, 70% at the junior college level, don't finish college and are saddled with loan debt. Researchers found that public colleges have a higher return on investments than private institutions. Sawhill, one of the authors of the study, recommends that technical and career programs be emphasized as a viable alternative to college. The study also states traditional colleges are churning out individuals with degrees. However, they are not necessarily producing thinkers, and that's a growing concern to employers. What employers are especially looking for these days are individuals who can demonstrate they know how to think, not simply regurgitate answers, and think creatively when they have, and these individuals have a much better chance of landing a job. Think tanks, education and research gurus for years have said every person is not college material. For those who are not, technical and career programs are in their viable interest. I am not a person who is interested in going to a four-year university to get a degree in geology. I have a passion for aviation. That's why I'm in aviation. That's why I'm pursuing my passion. It's not that I'm ignorant, that I can't go and do something what you guys would consider academics, but I have a passion and I'm following my passion, and I should have every chance to do so. And I think the study proves that just because all of us are not interested in becoming academics, it's not in our best interest to be forced to do so, that we should be able to have other alternatives. And I think you are doing this community a great disservice by discontinuing the aviation program here. And I would encourage you guys to go back, rethink, and replan so that those of us who have a passion for our industry, for aviation, that we would have the opportunity to pursue that education and bring in continued revenue into the city. Thank you.
Thank you. I think I want to go a little off right here because you raise an important question, an important point. That's something that has been certainly in our minds for the longest time. In regards to the discontinuance of these programs, and I think that back in January, if I recall correctly, I threw out a challenge of sorts to our staff to say, let's get a hold of our stakeholders, and I threw a challenge out to our stakeholders who were there at that meeting to basically talk about how can they get more involved with us, with the college, in helping us fund these programs and try to keep them together. So I want to raise that question again at this point to encourage our VPs, and I know we have our VP of Economic Development here with us, and I know that she has a big responsibility in working with a lot of our stakeholders out there to reach out to our friends in aviation, our friends in the automotive industry, and our friends in carpentry and everywhere else, to see how we can engage them further with Long Beach City College, to see how they can become more of a part of the community college family in regards to being able to assist us with finding ways to not only fund some of these programs, but to give us a better understanding that how we can better prepare our students to serve in that industry. One of the items that came up during all these discussions is that, and again, it's one of these things that people haven't been paying attention, haven't listened, because there's nobody wanting to talk about it, because people don't want to engage in the conversation, is that we may have discontinued programs that led to a degree or to a certificate of some time. some type. But we didn't discontinue classes that would lead to at least getting some kind of experience in those areas. And mainly because we weren't aware, perhaps, that the program didn't require a degree, didn't require an AA degree, or didn't require a certificate, quote unquote, of completion that only the Chancellor's Office recognizes as being something, a completion. Perhaps it's a certificate, perhaps it's a completion of a class or a series of classes, not that would lead to a degree or to a certificate of completion, but something that can be used for employment purposes. And I know that came up in the last meeting when we were talking about some of the certificates that Dr. Juarez brought up last time in regards to some of the new courses that we're developing here. So I think I want to direct staff, if I can, and I can, to reach out to our partners, to our stakeholders, conduct meetings, and I will certainly make myself available if and when I am needed to participate in those so that we can get our stakeholders much more engaged. This is an opportunity to press the reset button, is basically the way I'm looking at it. Yes, we discontinued programs, but no, they're not going away. We're going to keep them. We want to get them restructured, reorganized, and more efficient so that we can basically really get down to the nuts and bolts of addressing how we can better prepare our students for the jobs, not only the ones that they want to pursue, but for the jobs of the future. Because I know we have also other industries that are just screaming at us and waiting for students to be trained in those areas as well. So I think that that's another opportunity for us to do as well, is to look into the other industries and get them engaged with us to see how we can best address it and do it right, do it the right way. So I'm going to end it with that, and I will let Superintendent Eloy, if you want to say something, fine, but you don't have to.
I'll just acknowledge the direction. We, as you know, continue to talk with industry partners on an ongoing basis in several areas, and we will continue those conversations. And again, continue to segregate between those areas that we bring industry partners to the table and we contract with to provide not for credit instruction that leads directly to their job training needs, versus the higher education programs that we have, because the career technical education programs that we have are college level programs. We are a higher education institution, and those programs are considered higher education credentials. So we will continue to do both.
One of the discussions that comes to mind on this is that we probably have to change the paradigm about what is student success for us. I mean, it's not only about certificates and degrees, it's also about getting jobs. And if we can show that we have courses that lead to jobs and not necessarily a degree, I think we're on the right path. And that's something that the Chancellor's Office has to realize as well, is that community colleges serve a purpose not only towards educating our students in our communities, but also providing them with an avenue and a process by which they can lead to jobs, meaningful jobs, by taking classes here, whether it's 1 or 2 or maybe 3. Thank you. Okay, our next speaker is John Kindred, who wants to talk about student and community morale. 5 minutes.
You know, this semester we heard a lot about the morale of staff and everything being so low at the college. But one thing we didn't hear about is the student morale. And it's probably even lower than the staff morale here at the college this semester. Now, Mr. Otto, you talked about all the events that's been going on and how great they were. But you have not been to one of those events. If you compare the events this semester and last semester to past events 3 years or 4 years ago, they were lousy. The turnouts were lousy. We spent a lot of money, but what we got was almost nothing. Our mini Grand Prix, it was a skeleton of our past mini Grand Prix. Our spring scene was in the Hall of Champions for the first time. You know, and other events that we've had. Look at our student ASB election this year. Hardly anybody ran. And the numbers that the people did run, they had to work their butts off to get the few numbers that they got. Okay? We have people at the PCC campus, our director doesn't have the heart or the passion or the knowledge. People like Walt Weber, Paulette Marshall, they're gone. These are people, no matter how much we cut our programs, they could get students to get involved because they cared. Now we have people don't know anything, they just want to get a paycheck. We got a brand new student union. It's so dead over there, the county morgue got more life into it than our student union does. I mean, if you look at all the student unions around here from all the colleges, ours is the worst. It's not even a student union, only by name. We have over there a coordinator, don't even know his job. Flip-flops on the rules and things like this. I came to Dr. Peterson about that a few times, and he told me I had to go through the command. Well, it's hard to go through the command when the people that you want to report are the ones you have to go see at the same time. Now, I couldn't go to Connie Sears. She just jumped into her new job, and unlike the past people, she's got to see over 2 different departments at the same time. And when I did go to see her and put in for a thing, next thing I know, it gets turned into everybody's worried about me moving on to a 4-year university. Okay. I also got told that I can't be in certain programs because I was served twice a certified letter, which I never got. When I asked to show me proof of it, since it has to be signed, never seen that. When I'm told about a lot of other things, when I ask questions about for proof, you can't get no proof. Now, I got 9 students that saw what happened that day and also know that the coordinator had lied during the meeting in cultural affairs, and we have proof. But yet, though, I'm supposed to go to the same people that in the past has not done their job with other students and myself, and I'm expected to go to them? I don't think so. You know, we have a serious problem that's not just in the trades, but the whole college. And President Oakley, I brought this up to you in 2008 when I was the ASB president on the president council, and you said, your exact words, you had no knowledge of this. You'd never heard anything about this. And now here it is now, almost 2014, and it's gotten worse and worse. This used to be a college where people love to go to. We used to be the USC, UCLA of community colleges. Now, people are going to Compton College faster than they come in here. And at one time, nobody wanted to go to Compton College. No disrespect for Compton College, but we used to be the jewel in this area for community colleges, and we're not. You know? And I just say what Christy had to say. You know, there was a meeting February the 27th, 28th at Long Beach Airport hosted of 100 companies in aviation. Okay.
Can you wrap it up, please?
Sure. And on CCTV, they had reported in China that vocational jobs are doing better than colleges. Some people are getting jobs a year and a half before they even graduate from vocational. And I would love, some of you already know, that I sent that video to you already.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Andrea Donado, speaking about AB 955.
Good afternoon, members of the board and public. So, first, and with your permission, I would like to introduce myself as the student trustee-elect. So I will be taking office next June 11. And also congratulate the ESB president, elect president, that will be also taking office next year, is Marco Valencia. So, just that. Today I'm speaking on behalf of myself and on behalf of the Civic Engagement Club and on behalf of the trades too. Civic Engagement Club was discussing the proposition AB 955 and it passed the following resolution. Whereas Proposition 30 passed and it promised a better situation for the education in California, including community colleges. And whereas AB 955 discriminates against students who cannot afford paying $250 per unit during summer and winter intersessions. And whereas free waiver for summer and winter intersession is a recommendation, not a guarantee written in the bill. And whereas the AB 955 offers a priority enrollment for veterans, but veterans already have priority enrollment, it will be resolved that Civic Engagement Club at Long Beach City College considers Assembly Bill 955 an attack to public education and is strongly opposed to AB 955. It will be further resolved. Civic Engagement Club highly encourage the Long Beach City College Board of Trustees to take a stance in opposition to Assembly Bill 955. It will be further resolved. Civic Engagement Club highly encourage California senators to oppose the Assembly Bill 955. I have with me also a letter from the Chancellor's office in which states their opposition to this bill. We are in a college with a large number of poor students who cannot afford $250 in summer or winter. So once again, I am encouraging this board to oppose to this bill, even though I know the superintendent has signed as one of the supporters. So thank you very much for listening to me.
Okay, our last speaker is Richard Dugan. From what I understand, Mr. Dugan, you've already spoken with Vice President Peterson regarding this issue. Would you like to go ahead and meet with him right now or about this or later? Or? Excuse me? Okay, well, go ahead.
I'd just like to briefly explain something that when I found out about it, I couldn't believe this would happen here. A friend of mine, a woman, her name is Olga Tyrala, has wanted to become an RN nurse. She's on the dean's list. Her SAT score was 2124. She has, and besides these great things about her, she's got a good sense of humor and a nice person. That's why I'm here. When I heard that she didn't get on this, when I heard she wasn't selected to get into the nursing program, I couldn't believe it. She couldn't either. And to make a long story short, she's already completed the prerequisite courses and all the science courses she took, she got a 4 in. She has completed of the courses in the nursing program. The first semester she's completed 6 that aren't that are electives that aren't part of the science program itself. In the second semester, she's completed 3, which was general ed requirements. On the fourth semester, she has completed 3, which, of course, from the humanities, she's completed that. So she's completed all these. She's been on the dean's list, and then she wasn't selected for the nursing program. She needs a second chance, obviously. And the second chance comes up now from the way it was explained to us when the two of us went over and spoke to the people over in that department. The people that were selected to go into the nursing program will take a test called a TEAS test. Some of them will fail it. Could be between 5 and 10. That's when some of these people that weren't selected initially will be reselected. This is her chance to be reselected. That's why I'm here, because this woman is too valuable a person and is such a good student. She's going to make the college look really good in future years when she says, yes, I went to Long Beach City College. Oh, really? Well, that's really good. Now, it's a win for Long Beach City College. It's a win for her. And it's also a win for people who are going to need a good nurse in life. And this woman is a good nurse. And and one of the other advantages is, since she's taken all these prerequisite courses, not related to the nursing itself, that means on her first semester she's taken 6 units, second semester 3. So in both those semesters she only has to take 8 units each to complete the requirements. However, because this is such a light load, now she can go and take some of the what they call recommended but not required courses. And in nursing, there's 15 units of these. And I'm sure she's going to start taking some of these. So here she wins again, and you win too, and anybody who needs her services. So she's just ready to go. And her name is Olga Tyrala. And I hope my being here helps her, because she's going to help a lot of other people. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Trustee Kellogg.
No, I just, it obviously can never hurt when somebody comes down and says nice things about an individual, so whatever you did, it was a positive. But I want to make sure that we want to just very quickly explain about the process overall, and, because there's a lot of individuals, just like the one you explained there, from a personal perspective, that our nursing program is so impacted. But so just an overall, what are the next steps and what people do go through? I'm sure that she was not rejected because she was not qualified. I believe she probably just didn't get one of the slots. So probably just a quick explanation about the process of how people get into our nursing program here. And as a parent to a daughter who's leaving the state of California to go into nursing, because all the nursing programs in California are horribly impacted. So I understand exactly what you're saying, but maybe just a little bit of what is the overall process for people that apply like this scenario? So we're not trying to make it to the individual. I think it's fantastic somebody comes down and comments on somebody, but it's going to be beyond that, and I just know the program's impacted. So you want the opportunity just to explain a little bit of the process and the numbers?
Well, just briefly, Trustee Kellogg, our program is very competitive. The process is run by the Associate's Degree in Nursing faculty. There is an application process. There are hundreds of applicants. They base the decision on many factors, including GPA in the courses that lead to the nursing program, overall GPA, how many times an individual has applied. So there are a number of factors. It's difficult to say where this individual fell and how many were rejected, because we don't have that information. The nursing faculty run that process through their department. But it is very competitive, and many students who fail the first time apply a second and third time, and the more times they apply, the better their chances are. But it is certainly something that I'd be happy to look into to see where and what information we can give the student about what happened and what she can do to better prepare herself to get into the program. Certainly look into that.
Thank you. And thank you for coming down. It's very kind of you to do that.
Okay, having no other items on the agenda, there will be no second meeting, so this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.